Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be covering the entire book of Ecclesiastes. But before we cover the entire book of Ecclesiastes, I just kind of want to talk about this. In my opinion, I feel like the book of Ecclesiastes is one of the most important books of the Bible. Don't get me wrong, they're all important, but I feel as though the book of Ecclesiastes holds a special value because it searches one of the most commonly asked questions by humanity, which is, what is the meaning of life? But yeah, before we cover the book of Ecclesiastes, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because these videos actually take a really long time to make, and you'd be doing me the biggest favor if you actually did do those things. But without further ado, let's cover the entire book of Ecclesiastes. The book starts with a wise man introducing himself. He calls himself the teacher or the preacher, and he is the son of King David ruling in Jerusalem. Most people believe this is King Solomon, one of the wisest men in history. The teacher starts by saying everything is meaningless, completely meaningless. He is not just talking about some things, he means everything. He says that life is like chasing the wind. No matter how hard you try, you can't catch it. He explains that people are born and then they die. Generations come and go, but the earth stays the same. Even if one person is important, the next generation might forget about them. The teacher talks about how the sun rises and sets, then rises again. The wind blows in circles, never stopping. Rivers flow into the sea, but the sea never gets full. Everything keeps moving, but nothing really changes. The teacher says people always think they've discovered something new, but everything has already happened before. What seems new today was already done long ago. If people forget history, they might think something is new, but it's not. The teacher warns that even if someone does something great, people will forget them eventually. Just like how people today don't remember everything about people long ago. Future generations won't remember today's people either. The teacher says that he tried to understand everything about life. He wanted to know how the world works, and why things happen the way they do. But the more he learned, the more confused he felt. He saw that people work hard all their lives, but it often feels useless. No matter how much effort they put in, things don't always go the way they want. The teacher says that gaining wisdom can actually make people sad. The more you understand, the more you realize how many problems there are in the world. He says with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The teacher decides to test whether pleasure can bring meaning to life. He enjoys himself, laughing and having fun. But in the end, he finds that that too is meaningless. He tries drinking wine to see if it'll make him happy. He still wants to be wise, so he drinks carefully, hoping it will help him understand life. But he realizes that wine, like laughter, doesn't bring true happiness. Next, he builds houses, plants vineyards, creates gardens and parks, filled with all kinds of fruit trees. He makes pools to water them, creating a beautiful paradise. He gathers gold and silver, owns many slaves, and has more wealth than anyone before him in Jerusalem. He even has singers and many women to bring him pleasure. He denies himself nothing he wants. Even though he has everything, he realizes that it doesn't truly satisfy him. He looks at all he has done, but it still feels meaningless, just like chasing the wind. The teacher compares wisdom and foolishness. He sees that wisdom is better because it helps people see where they're going, while fools stumble in the dark. But in the end, both wise people and fools die. The teacher realizes that after he dies, someone else will take everything he worked for. That person may be wise or foolish, but they will control all of his hard work. This makes him frustrated. He starts to hate all the work he has done because he realizes that he won't be able to enjoy it forever. Even if he works wisely and carefully, his rewards go to someone else. He notices that hard work doesn't always bring peace. People work all day, but they still worry at night and can't sleep. After all this, the teacher decides that the best thing to do is enjoy life. Eat, drink, and find happiness in work, because these things are gifts from God. The teacher says that everything in life happens at the right time. There is a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to harvest, a time to cry, and a time to laugh. The teacher explains that people don't control when things happen. No matter how hard they try, they can't change the seasons of life. Everything happens in its own time. God has a plan for everything. He makes everything beautiful at the right time, but doesn't show people the full picture. That means people don't always understand why things happen. Since people can't control life, the teacher says the best thing to do is enjoy it. He says people should eat, drink, and find happiness in their work, because these are gifts from God. Unlike people, God's work never disappears. What He does lasts forever. No one can add to it or take away from it. Everything happens as He planned. The teacher notices that things keep repeating. What happens now has already happened before, and it will happen again in the future. The teacher sees that even in places that should be fair, like courts and governments, there is wickedness. He knows that God will judge both the righteous and the wicked when the time is right. The teacher realizes that both people and animals die. They both come from dust and they return to dust. No one knows for sure what happens after death. Since people don't know what happens after death, the teacher says that the best thing to do is enjoy life. He reminds people to find happiness in their work. The teacher looks at the world and sees people being oppressed and cry because they have no one to help them, while their oppressors have power. This makes him think that it would be better to be dead than to see so much suffering. He says that people who haven't been born are better off than those who have to see all evil in the world. The teacher notices that people work hard because they are jealous of others. They want to be better than their neighbors, but this is meaningless, like chasing the wind. The teacher says that fools don't work at all, and they ruin their own lives. But working too much and never resting is also foolish. The teacher says that having just a little with peace and happiness is better than having a lot but being stressed all the time. He talks about a man that works hard but has no family or friends. He has no one to share his success with, and he wonders why he's working so hard. The teacher says that having a friend or partner is better than being alone. If one person falls, the other can help them up. If two people sleep together, they can keep each other warm. Rope with 3 strands is even stronger. The teacher tells a story of a young man who is poor but wise. He becomes king, replacing an old king who refuses to listen to advice. But even the new king will eventually be forgotten. Teacher warns people to be respectful when they approach God. They should listen more than they speak, and they shouldn't make promises they can't keep. If someone makes a promise to God, they should keep it. It's better to not make a promise at all than to make one and not follow through. The teacher says that too many words are meaningless. People should fear God instead of trying to sound wise with long speeches. The teacher says that people shouldn't be shocked when they see government corruption. Those in power often take advantage of others, and even leaders have someone above them. People who love money never have enough. Even when they get more, they always want more. This is meaningless because they can't take wealth with them when they die. The teacher says that rich people often have more worries. The more they have, the more they have to lose. But a person who works hard and sleeps well is often happier than a rich person who stays up worrying. Some people save up lots of money but then lose it all because of a bad investment. If they die with nothing, all their work was for nothing. People are born with nothing and they leave with nothing. No matter how much they earn, they can't take any of it with them when they die. The teacher says that the best thing to do is enjoy what God gives them. If someone has wealth, they should be thankful and enjoy their work, instead of worrying about the future. The teacher talks about a man who has everything: wealth, honor, and a long life. But he isn't able to enjoy it. Instead, a stranger enjoys his riches. This, he says, is meaningless. The teacher says that if a person lives a long life but they never enjoy their blessings, a stillborn child is better off. The child never experiences pain or disappointment, while the rich man lives but finds no joy. No matter how much people have, they always want more. They eat and eat, but they're never full. This endless hunger for more is pointless. Teacher reminds people that they can't change what God has decided. No matter how much they talk or complain, God is in control. The teacher says that life is like a shadow. It doesn't last long, and no one knows what will happen after they're gone. The teacher says that a good name is more valuable than an expensive perfume. He also says that the day of death is better than the day of birth, because life is full of trouble, but death brings rest. He explains that it's better to go to a funeral than a party, because funerals remind people that a life is short. Sorrow is better than laughter because it helps people grow wise. The teacher says that it's better to listen to a wise person's warning than listen to a fool who only tells jokes. Laughter from fools is like cracking thorns burning under a pot. It makes noise but doesn't last. He warns that oppression makes wise people act foolishly, and that it's better to be patient than have a short temper. The teacher says people shouldn't long for the good old days, because that kind of thinking isn't wise. Every time has its own troubles. Wisdom and money can both protect people, but wisdom is better because it helps people live wisely and understand life. The teacher says that God makes both good and bad times, so people should accept both. No one knows what the future will bring. The teacher notices that sometimes good people suffer and bad people succeed. This seems unfair, but it's the way life works. He warns people not to act overly righteous or overly wicked. Being too self-righteous can lead to pride, while being too wicked can lead to disaster. The best path is balance. Wisdom makes a person stronger than 10 rulers in a city. But even the wisest person still sins, because no one is perfect. He tells people to not get upset when they hear other people talking bad about them. After all, they have probably spoken bad about others too. The teacher tried to understand everything, but he realized that true wisdom is hard to find. No one can fully understand life. He warns that some women lead men into destruction, and those who follow wisdom will avoid them. The teacher looked for righteous people but found very few. He says God made people upright, but they have chosen their own complicated ways. The teacher says that wisdom makes a person's face shine and softens their hardness. A wise person knows when to act and understands the right time for everything. He advises people to obey their king because the king has power. Those who obey will stay safe, while rebels may face punishment. The teacher reminds people that no one can control the future, just like no one can control the wind. No one can stop the day of their death. He notices that sometimes wicked people are honored while righteous people suffer. This is unfair, but it happens in life. Even though wicked people may seem to succeed, the teacher says that those who fear God ultimately will be better off. Since life is uncertain, the teacher encourages people to eat, drink, and enjoy their work, because these things are gifts from God. The teacher says that even the wisest people can't fully understand what God is doing. Life is full of mysteries that no one can figure out. The teacher says that death comes to everyone, no matter who they are. The righteous and the wicked both face the same fate. This makes life seem unfair, but it's a part of life. The teacher encourages people to enjoy their life, even though it's brief. They should be happy with what they have and enjoy every day, especially the small things like eating and drinking. He says that it's impossible to know what the future holds. People shouldn't worry too much about things that haven't happened yet. The teacher points out that both wise and foolish people have the same fate. They die. Sometimes the wise person's wisdom is forgotten while the foolish people are remembered. The teacher observes that life is unpredictable. A strong man can be defeated, and a wise person's wisdom can be forgotten. Life doesn't always go as planned. The teacher advises people to seize opportunities when they come. A person can't know when good or bad things happen, so they should take advantages of chances when they come. The teacher also mentions that small things can make big differences. Small things can make a big difference. Even a small amount of wisdom or effort can have a big impact. He says that wisdom is better than strength, and that even one wise person can change the outcome of a situation. The teacher says that death can come suddenly or unexpectedly, so it's best to be ready for when it does come. So people should be ready at all times. The teacher then reflects on how death comes to everybody, no matter how wise or good they are. Life is uncertain and unpredictable, so people should enjoy what they have and seize opportunities, and not worry too much about the future. Even small things can make a difference, and wisdom is better than strength. The teacher then says that even a little foolishness can destroy a lot of good. just like how a tiny crack in a jar can ruin the entire thing. Foolish acts can ruin a person's reputation or life. The teacher then goes on to explain that wisdom can make people respected, but foolishness brings shame. If you act foolishly, people are going to notice and think less of you. He then goes on to warn that being too quick to anger is foolish. If a person acts angry without thinking, they can take a situation from bad to worse. The teacher then goes on to say that if a ruler is foolish, it harms everyone. A wise leader brings peace and prosperity, while a foolish one causes trouble. The teacher warns that overworking can lead to tiredness and trouble. People should take time to rest and not be consumed by work. The teacher talks about how lazy people don't get anything done, they don't fix broken things or take care of problems, and this makes life harder for them. He says that words can either build up or destroy. Speaking wisely can help others, but talking carelessly can hurt people or bring trouble. The teacher points out that it's easy to see when someone is being foolish. Foolishness often shows through a person's actions or words. The teacher compares foolish work to a broken building that is hard to repair. When a fool makes a mistake, it's often too late to fix it. The teacher says that fools make bad leaders. They don't know how to lead or make wise decisions, which leads to problems. He warns that people can get caught up in chasing money and pleasure, but this can lead to destruction. If a person focuses too much on these things, they lose sight of what really matters. The teacher teaches that foolish actions, words, and decisions can ruin everything. Wisdom leads to respect, while foolishness leads to shame and destruction. Work hard, but don't overwork. Leaders need wisdom to help others, and lazy or foolish actions only create problems. People should be careful with their words, and remember that money and pleasure can't fix life's problems. The teacher advises to cast your bread upon the waters, meaning people should invest in many things as they don't know which one will succeed. This suggests taking risks in life. The teacher encourages people not to be afraid of taking risks, just as farmers plant seeds in the ground without knowing how much they'll harvest. People should act even when they don't know the outcome. He points out that life is uncertain and you can't control everything, and it's impossible to know what will happen in the future, just like you can't really predict the weather perfectly. The teacher reminds young people to enjoy their youth because old age comes quickly and life becomes harder. However, even in youth, people should remember that life has its troubles. He describes the difficulties of old age like weakened senses and less energy. Even though people may have wisdom with age, they cannot avoid the challenges that come with it. The teacher advises young people to remember their Creator while they are still young, before old age comes. And before life becomes difficult, they should focus on God and live wisely. He reflects on the final part of life, when everything ends, and how people should be aware of this end while they are still alive. He urges people to live with this in mind. The teacher advises taking risks, enjoying life while you're still young, and remembering God. Life is uncertain, and things may not always turn out as expected, but people should keep trying and living wisely. When you're young, make good choices because life can become difficult as you grow older. The teacher urges young people to remember their Creator before they grow old and life becomes harder. He says that in old age, people will experience physical decline and life's pleasures will fade. The teacher describes the physical challenges of old age. Eyesight and strength will fade, and people will become afraid of everything. Even the joy of life will fade as health and strength decline. He says that one day life will end. The body will return to dust, and the spirit will return to God. This reminds people that their time on earth is limited. The teacher says that the words he has shared are wise and true, meant to guide people. He advises people to be careful with knowledge and to fear God, as this is the key to life. He concludes by stating that the whole duty of a person is to fear God and keep his commandments. This is the purpose of life. The teacher reminds people that God will judge everything, both good and bad, including every secret thing. No one can escape his judgment. And yeah, that was the book of Ecclesiastes. But yeah, I wanted to do this book for a really long time because it searches one of the most commonly asked questions by humanity, which is, what is the purpose / meaning to life? And, the book of Ecclesiastes has that answer. And a lot of people don't know this, which makes this a very important episode. But yeah, I feel like that's it. I thank you for watching. Like this, you're awesome. I hope you're having an amazing day or night. But please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because these videos actually take a really long time to make, and you'd be doing me the biggest favor if you actually did do those things. But thank you, I love you, and God bless.